Thanks for joining us on the news at 10. We begin in Abuja, where it was a busy day for justices of the Supreme Court, as the court earlier today upheld the election of Abba Yusuf as Governor of Kano State, Caleb Mutfwang as Governor of Plateau State, reversing the decisions of the Court of Appeal and the Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal, which sacked them. Other governors who also got the nod of the Supreme Court are governors of Lagos State, Sanwo-olu, Governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, Governor of Ebonyi State, Nwifuru, Governor of Zamfara, Dauda Lawal, Governor of Abia, Otti, and Governor of Cross River, Bassey, we have details in this report.
In the appeal arising from Kano State, Justice John Okoro, who read the lead judgment, held that the lower court was wrong in its judgment to have deducted 165,616 votes from the votes secured by Governor Abba Yusuf. It therefore set aside the judgment of the Court of Appeal.
President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCF, as well as his Vice President, Kashim Shettima GCON, for their neutrality, not to be deterred, not to be involved in snatching the mandates of the good people of the state.
On the appeal from Zamfara State, Justice Emmanuel Algim, who read the lead judgment, described the judgment of the Court of Appeal as perverse. The allegations of non-accreditations, no conduct of elections, or overvoting must be proved with the BVAS, voters register from EC8As, from EC40G, as well as the testimony of polling unit officers or party agents.
Detailed analysis of how the Supreme Court came to the conclusion that the judgment is perverse will be clear when we have copies of the judgment. But for now, as you heard me say in court, but for the Supreme Court, but for the Supreme Court, but for the Supreme Court, gross injustice would have happened in this land.
Actually, what I was expecting, so I believe the judiciary are doing very well, and Zamfara people are happy, and we're grateful. We'll now go back, settle down, and do the needful in terms of governance.
For Bauchi State Justice Ibrahim Salwa, who read the lead judgment, dismissed the appeal filed by Sadiq Abubakar for lacking in merit.
Won at the tribunal, they went to the Court of Appeal, we won also at the Court of Appeal, and now for the third time and for the final time, the highest court in the land, the highest court, the Supreme Court, has also given him victory.
It's a very, very auspicious moment for me, for the people of both state and for the people of Nigeria. And it is the attestation and affirmation of good governance and faith in the judiciary and judicial process and in the corporate existence of Nigeria.
The last appeal from the north was that of Plateau State. Justice Emmanuel Algim, who read the lead judgment, held that the validity of nomination and sponsorship by his party is not a ground for nullifying an election. The Court of Appeal lacks the jurisdiction to determine the validity of the governor as candidate of the PDP.
Is still available in Nigeria. I want to thank Mr. President for showing himself a true Democrat and not allowing the space, the political space, to become intoxicated.
The Supreme Court with this judgment has repaired some of the damages done by the Court of Appeal, particularly in Plateau State. This brings to question if the National Assembly election needs to end at the Court of Appeal. Celestina Iria, TVC News, Abuja. 4 appeals from the southern parts of the country were also decided by the apex courts. The appeals from Lagos State, filed by Boro's rival, seeking to nullify the election of Sanwo-olu as Governor of Lagos State, was dismissed. Justice Dauda Lawal, who read the lead judgment, held that the Deputy Governor was duly qualified to contest the election.
The judgment of the Supreme Court is, to my opinion, insoluble.
straight to the point and able to state that yes, truly, the governor of Lagos State and the deputy governor of Lagos State were both qualified and won this election.
The court also dismissed the appeal filed by Aziz Adenira for being academic. Next was the appeal from Ebonyi State. Justice Tijani Abubakar, who read the late judgment, held that the appeal filed by Chukwuemeka Otti of the PDP is unmeritorious.
Let me first and foremost thank God Almighty for a day like this, and thank my legal team and the All Progressive Congress and the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Especially, let me thank the courts for delivering justice to the people of Ebonyi State.
From Cross River State, Justice Helen Ogu-Omiju, who read the lead judgment, held that the appellant filed a nonsensical case. The appellant could not prove that Governor Bassey gave false information about his secondary school.
No single evidence to prove or just to squirrelize the governor and painting with the tar brush of shame. But today, the Supreme Court rose up and said no to shenanigans.
Perseverance is cited that this is a mandate that we work for, and when you look at the facts that were raised, they are just frivolous, and that is why the appeal was dismissed immediately.
The lead judgment in the appeal from Abia State was read by Justice Nwani Abaji. She held that the candidate of another political party cannot challenge the nomination or membership of another candidate from another political party. An appeal against the concurrent findings of fact in the lower court cannot be overturned.
Abia people can rest. Mr. Governor's election has been further validated by their lordships, and they can now face the real business of governance, with greater vigor. We thank their lordship for a very, very sound judgment.
These governors will now be free from distractions and perhaps be more focused on the task of governance. Celestina Iria, TVC News, Abuja.
In a related development, reactions